Well, in the last 15 years I've probably been to Sylt 7 or 8 times, so it's one of our favourite places to come. It's not exactly easy to bring the boat here because there's no marina that we can go in, so we have to anchor. So it's quite unusual to anchor a boat like mine, but and it's challenging because, you know, around Sylt are sandbanks everywhere, and so it makes it very challenging to sail, but good fun, eh? We always have good wind, and it's good fun to show the boat off to the people in Sylt. Yeah, it's a beautiful island. I lived in the Shetland Islands for many years, so it's not dissimilar. You know, it's quite remote. It's open to the weather from the North Sea, so you know the weather can change very quickly. I guess sometimes we have 3 seasons in one day, and it's rugged, and there's some beauty around the ruggedness. So I really like it. We know sailing is quite a niche sport, and so not many people really have a real understanding of what I do, and so I love taking journalists especially on board the boat, because you can just see in their eyes when I show them the technology, I show them the composite engineering, and I show them how I have to operate the boat. You know, their thinking completely changes, and they are astonished by what we do. Well, I love the interaction now with the technology, the screens. It's very different to the previous model, and you know, I think that driver interface is really important, and the technology now of collision avoidance, and you know, telling you when it's almost becoming autonomous. And I guess on the boat that's what I have. You know, I drive very little on my boat. It's driven by the autonomous autopilot 95% of the time in a round the world race. So it's interesting to see this technology developing in the cars, and it's going to be fascinating how it's going to work in the next 2, 5, 10 years time. Well, I think with my boat we have an immense amount of power, immense, and but you can't use it all the time, and I guess that's the same with cars. You know, normally most cars have more power than you need, but it's, you know, I always feel like it's nice to have the power there. Well, you know, Mercedes-Benz have been a fantastic partner for us, and I think, you know, for the future as we move towards, you know, the autonomous world. I'm already autonomous, but for the next Vendée Globe, we hope our mission is to go without any fossil fuels, no fuel at all, using electric engines, batteries, and just the solar energy and hydro energy to be able to power the boat. That's the mission for the next 4 years. I think one of the most important things is that it doesn't actually matter how big your boat is. It could be a tiny little dinghy, or it could be a big cruise ship, but once you leave sight of land, you have a real understanding of how small we are as human beings, and I find that a very humbling experience. Well, you know, racing on your own on a boat like this, you know, throughout the world's toughest oceans it's one of the most difficult, most challenging things you can do. I mean, today more than 4,000 people have climbed Mount Everest, more than 600-700 people have been into outer space, but still today less than 100 people have ever sailed solo non-stop around the world. A lot of people consider racing in the Vendée Globe as an individual sport, but the reality it's not. It's just like Formula One. When Lewis Hamilton is racing around the track, he's got a big team behind him, and my team's not quite so big, but it's super important. We make all the decisions before the race as a team, and you know, we have expert riggers, we have expert boat builders, expert sail makers, expert sales people, expert safety people, and without them I couldn't do it. Well, I always wanted to be a search and rescue helicopter pilot like my father. When I was 17 years old, I went to the local hospital and they tested my eyes, and they said I couldn't even be a seaman in the Navy. And so sailing was my hobby, and I was fortunate enough to be able to turn it from a hobby into a profession. So I think it's really important. Do what you like doing. Well, the next aim is Vendée Globe in 2020. That's the mission. And you need 3 things for this. You need time, money, and people. And you need all 3. So currently I'm putting together the team, putting together the funding and the sponsors, and I have to do that in time to be able to make the whole thing work. The mission, of course, is to finish first. In 2012 I was 3rd, 2016 I was 2nd, so there's only one place to go. It's victory. It'll be great. It's great to get the journalists out on the boat and show them what I do and show them a bit about the boat, how I cook food, them driving the boat, them doing some of the grinding. You know, I love to show them the features that are like the cars, the autonomous driving, and talk about how our goal is to go with zero fossil fuels. So there's a lot to talk about, and it's amazing the synergies between the car world, the automotive world, and what we do on the water. So next for us, we take the boat back to England and we do the Fastnet race, and then come September, when she starts to get a bit chilly in the UK, then we head south and we go to the Mediterranean. So we'll be visiting Cannes, Barcelona and Malta. So I'm looking forward to going south.